I think a lot of people currently also feel that AI is going to take over the world, right? And it might end up in a Terminator kind of a thing.
Yeah, Skynet. It's
Skynet.
coming.
And you can't just sit in a car and tell the car, okay, you decide where I want to go.
Yeah.
Your AI would tell you, hey, you need faster horses. But who will think about the car? A human. Which is why, when my wife is saying everything is fine, everything is not fine.
Not fine, yeah.
Right? But for an AI, there is no way for him to know.
Yeah.
Right? AI will think, oh, everything is fine, the test was fine.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Yellow Couch series. Today we're going to speak about the future of UX post the AI revolution. I know AI has been buzzing around on and off, but we're still going to be speaking about this just from the perspective of how AI has affected the UX industry or the UX practices which we have. Okay. Now to speak on this topic, we have Harshal with us. Harshal is a fellow UX designer. He's a UX practitioner for so many years now. Okay. Having said that, he's been working with Zeux Innovation, and he is actually the best candidate to discuss this because he started off his career by being a software developer and then gradually went up the ladder, and now he's a UX designer. Okay, so yeah, over to you, Harshal. So Harshal, to begin with, the first question I had for you was, can you tell me the full form of AI? I am joking. Just a joke. I know the full form. It is artificial intelligence. But
thank God.
So actually, I just wanted to know, recently you've written an article, AI will make us more human. So could you just tell us what exactly that article was about and what is the takeaway that we should take as UX designers from this particular article?
Sure. Have you read my article?
Yeah, I've read your article. Yeah. It was March where you had launched the article. So I remember, yeah.
All right. Okay. I'll take that. But jokes apart, so in a gist, what my article basically talks about is how artificial intelligence is actually going to help humankind. All right. So for example, you see accountants, right? When calculators were invented, right? A lot of accountants thought, oh, our jobs will go.
They'll push back.
Right? They were like, oh, this is not going to work out and all that. But then few years later, they figured out, hey, actually, my work gets done faster because of calculators. Right? Now, calculator, in a way, is the simplest form of AI. Okay. It can do a lot of maths. Right? So, in that way, right? So, now what happens is something that, took them like an entire day to do, with the help of calculators, they can do it in half the time. Right? That sort of frees up the rest of the day for them, right? Which they can spend with their family. They can attend their kids' plays or soccer games, right? Or spend time with their parents, right? And honestly, isn't that what makes us more human?
Yeah.
Right? Spending time with the family.
So let all the complicated work or the task which is actually going to take a lot of time, that is something which you can push through. Let AI do it, and then you get more time in hand.
Exactly, right? Imagine if such a small calculator can do that. What can a really large AI do?
Yeah.
How much it can help?
Taking that one point, if we look at it, in UX design, okay, personas are one of the fundamental, user persona is something very fundamental in UX design, okay. I would say it is one of the major aspects of UX design. Without that, you don't have UX design. So if AI is started doing that, okay, then the question is that can you completely rely on that, okay? And if yes, or how can UX designers add value if AI is going to do that? That is something which I would like to know.
I think that's a great question because I think a lot of people currently also feel that AI is going to take over the world, right? And it might end up in a Terminator kind of a thing.
Yeah, Skynet. It's coming.
I don't think it's coming, or something like a Matrix. But I think that's really far fetched right now, right? I think one of the best example are the self-driven cars. right? So when you sit in a self-driven car,
Yeah.
they tell you, please keep your hands on the steering,
Yeah.
right? And why do they do that?
Because Elon Musk doesn't want to pay claims to their users. Wait, why is
Yes,
it?
but then why would he would want to pay claims,
Yeah,
right?
obviously.
It's a machine, in short, right? And we have all worked with machines, and we know some at some point of time they malfunction,
Yeah.
or they do not act according to what they were supposed to.
So even he is not 100% sure. You can
Exactly.
trust an automatic car.
Exactly, right?
Okay.
And you can't just sit in a car and tell the car, okay, you decide where I want to go. Right? I still have to tell the car,
Exactly, yeah.
right? Take me home, take me to office, take me to the beach, right? So you still need that human intervention to guide the AI, to
Okay.
tell the AI exactly what you want, right? The same thing with a user persona, right? If I tell an AI create a user persona for a banking app, it can spit out anything which can be relevant. But what if my persona has to be someone who's a student, for example, right? I have to give that input to the AI. I have to tell him that, hey, this is a student. Can you create a persona for that?
So you can't work with generic personas. It has to
Exactly.
be very to the point to what exactly you're designing.
Exactly, right? If you want a design solution that truly works for your user, you need as much detail about the user as you can to feed that persona to an AI, right? And what is the AI actually generating? A bunch of images and few descriptions, right? So it's not that the AI is coming up on its own. It's whatever you input.
Is something which
Exactly.
is just basically refining it and giving
Exactly,
it. Okay.
right? So it will take a lot of time for a UX designer to come up with a persona. AI can make it faster, but AI can't do it all on its own. At least not now.
Basically, you type in your thoughts and it will just give some clarity to it.
Exactly, right? So in Mid Journey, for example, when you go and you say car driving on the moon, right? Then it generates a car driving on the moon. You can't just hit enter and figure out, say, hey, what is Mid Journey going to paint today?
Got it. So you need to have that in.
Exactly. So you will always need a human. As long as there is a human at the other side using an application, you need a human to design it.
Okay, great. So, speaking about AI and UX designers, there have been this lot of these, applications out there which can assist you in doing surveys
Right.
and other kinds of tools, which we normally use. Okay. So, will AI be helpful out there? I mean, surveys are also most probably you get user feedback, one form of user feedback.
What kind of surveys are you talking about?
The normal surveys, ये
Okay.
like you go to a mall, rating 1 to 5. I'm just joking. Normal surveys which we normally put, we
Right.
send through, and like 1,000 group of individuals.
Yes.
We reach out to them and ask them, what do you think about this app? What is your this? So that is something. So will AI help out there, or is it just that what do you think?
See, AI will help you collate that data and will probably give you an answer as to what the survey sort of is trying to tell you, right? But it will not tell you at what point was the survey sent.
Okay.
Right now, one of the issues with surveys is that okay, let me ask you this: when was the last time you filled a survey?
Oh, I think last time when I went to Shopper Stop, the lady at the counter was like, "Can you fill this?" I filled that.
Right, and
That's it.
the only reason you have filled it is either because you were really happy with the service or you were really pissed with the service.
Yeah, no, I normally fill. They just ask me and I'm like, हाँ मैं कर दूँगा, ठीक है.
And
आपने
then
पूछा.
so what happens is most of them either fill it when they are happy or
Or
sad,
sad.
or they are just good,
Good.
average, right?
So that data won't really help.
Exactly, right? So when AI will actually collate it, it will either say, hey, the application is really good or the application is really bad, or everyone says the application is average. But that's not really the insight, right? Because have all your 5,000 applications actually filled it? What were their mindset when they filled it? Right? Those are the things that need to be thought of, which a UX designer or a UX researcher can think about.
Okay.
Which AI cannot. So, to put it very simply, there's this quote of Henry Ford. If I asked users, what do they want?
Yeah, they would say faster horses.
Horses, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So
I heard that one. Yeah.
your AI would tell you, hey, you need faster horses. But who will think about the car? A human.
God, great. It's a great example. Having said that, I think one other aspect of the UX design is the user testing, right? And in user testing, okay, there are a lot of AI tools which are like, we can do the user testing. So I've heard of this tool which will basically, record the user while it is doing the user testing, okay, and it will tell you what the output is. So is that really helpful right now? What do you think about it?
So even I have heard of this, and as far as I know, I don't think there is any tool which is that accurate currently. And it's not a surprise because a human being is a very complex character. With a set of very complex emotions. For example, my wife, when I go home and I go like, hey, you're particularly quiet today. Like, is everything okay? And she's like, yeah, everything's fine. And I'm like, okay.
So that's a bad sign.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. See, you know it because you're human.
I think I'm married. That's more better.
And you have experience, right? Exactly, right? Which is why, when my wife is saying everything is fine, everything is not fine.
Not fine, yeah.
Right? But for an AI, there is no way for him to know.
Yeah.
Right? AI will think, oh, everything is fine, the test was fine. Or if the user says that, hey, yeah, everything is working fine, yes, the test was fine. But only you will understand that that person is struggling at some one feature. Right? Or that person is hovering over one aspect of an app. And then you ask, what happened? What are you thinking about? What do you think that is?
I think even the small talk which you have before
exactly
is something which will add more context.
Yes, and that also, good thing you brought that up. So I'll give you one story, right, which happened with one of my colleagues, right? In one of the user testings, now what happens is people are not so used to testing something, right? And we as Indians have this habit of saying, "Sab acha hai." Everything's good.
Yeah.
We have no issues with anything. Everything is good. You give me my compensation. I will be on my way. So this guy came in and, my colleague asked him, so what are the kind of sports that you play? And he was like, I play everything.
Okay.
Like, okay, everything, anything in particular? Everything. Like, okay, do you play cricket? Yes. Okay, do you like cricket? Yes. Do you play football? Yes. But he could know that he just wants to get the interview over with, right? And what he did was he spotted, his bike keys, and he was like, "Hey, you're a bike rider," and he was like, "Yeah, actually I am." And you're like, "Oh, which bike do you have?" And he's like, "Oh, I have a Royal Enfield." Like, "Oh, you have a Royal Enfield? Even I have a Royal Enfield, right? And you have the new one?" And he was like, "No, I have the old one with the kickstart." And this guy was like, "Oh, but the new feature, which is the fuel indicator, works great." They had a small talk. There was a rapport building. And then when he asked, okay, so then what are the sports that you normally play? He just opened up.
Okay.
He said, I play kabaddi, we play kho-kho, right? We went to that level, we have played hockey, and then he just opened up after that, right? And that is one of the skills that we as UX designers have, right? So that the person opposite can trust us.
So the initial time when you will meet the, test the user, that's when you all have to build that rapport.
Exactly.
So that is something which AI can never do, basically.
Exactly, right? Because most of the time, people want to get things over with. They're like, okay, fine, okay, I click here. How is it? Nice. That is not going to help us or the users or our clients with good design.
Yeah. I think you're right. Having said that, on this note, thank you so much for your time, Harshal.
Thanks, Ajit.
Okay, and I think we should make sure that our wives don't see this.
Yes.
Or we will be screwed.
Yes, sound.
Hello, mic test.
Hello.
तेरा मीटिंग कितने बजे है अंबानी के साथ?
बड़े वाले अंबानी के.
बड़े वाले ओके अंबानी. Start.